Imagine you're the CEO of a major company. You've just replaced your entire workforce with AI and robots. Your production costs have plummeted. Profits are soaring. Your shareholders are ecstatic. Then something strange happens. Your sales begin to drop. Slowly at first, then faster. Your competitors, who also automated, are reporting the same problem. You've created the perfect business with one fatal flaw. Nobody can afford to buy your products anymore. In the rush to automate, companies forgot a fundamental truth of capitalism. Workers aren't just costs on a balance sheet. They're also customers. And customers need incomes. This isn't science fiction. It's a mathematical inevitability if we continue on our current path. And almost nobody is talking about it. Today, we're exploring the question that could define our economic future. When AI replaces everyone who buys anything. Let's start with a simple truth. Our economy runs on consumer spending. In the United States, consumption makes up nearly 70% of GDP. For businesses to succeed, people need money to spend. And for most people, that money comes from one place, a job. Here's where the paradox begins. From a single company's perspective, automating makes perfect sense. Labor is expensive. AI and robots don't need salaries, healthcare, or sick days. A rational CEO looking at their own bottom line will always choose automation when it's cheaper than a human. But when every company makes that same rational decision, the collective outcome becomes completely irrational. It's like being in a stadium where everyone stands up to get a better view. When one person stands, they see better. When everyone stands, no one sees better. And now everyone is just less comfortable. This is what economists call the automation trap. Individual companies optimize for their own profit by cutting labor costs, but together they are eliminating the very consumers who buy their products. And unlike past waves of automation, AI threatens jobs across the entire economic spectrum. So which jobs are really at risk? Let's look at the data. A Goldman Sachs report estimated that AI could automate or partially automate 300 million jobs worldwide. That's nearly a quarter of all current jobs. According to research from OpenAI, about 80% of the US workforce could have at least 10% of their work tasks affected. The distribution isn't even. Think about the people you interact with daily. Customer service representatives. Up to 95% of their tasks are automatable. Data entry clerks, bookkeepers, bank tellers. Studies show 80 to 99% of their tasks can be automated. This extends to paralegals, radiologists, even truck drivers. And creative and professional fields are not immune. AI can already generate articles that pass for human written, create original artwork, compose music, and draft legal contracts. What's different this time is the sheer breadth of the impact. AI isn't just replacing physical labor or routine cognitive tasks. It's coming for creative work, analysis, and decision-making. We've been here before. Sort of. When the Industrial Revolution began, skilled weavers saw their livelihoods destroyed by mechanical looms. The Luddites, contrary to popular belief, weren't opposed to technology itself. They were opposed to technology that threatened their ability to feed their families. In the short term, their fears were justified. It was a brutal transition. But over decades, the Industrial Revolution did create more jobs than it destroyed. Farm workers became factory workers. Their children became office workers. Each technological revolution followed a similar pattern. But there are three critical differences with AI that make this revolution unlike any before it. First, the pace. Previous technological revolutions unfolded over generations. The AI revolution is happening in years, not centuries. The time for us to adapt is radically compressed. Second, the scope. Earlier automations replaced specific physical capabilities. Our strength, our precision. AI potentially replaces human cognition itself across nearly every domain. And third, the lack of clear new job categories. When tractors replaced farm workers, factories offered new employment. When factories automated, the service sector expanded. But when AI can perform both physical and cognitive tasks, what's the next frontier for human employment? This brings us to the most commonly proposed solution: universal basic income. A regular payment to all citizens, regardless of work status. It seems like an elegant solution. If machines are doing the producing, shouldn't everyone share in the benefits? The concept has supporters all across the political spectrum, from tech billionaires like Elon Musk to conservative economists like Milton Friedman. In theory, UBI could provide a consumption floor, ensuring people can still buy things. Small-scale experiments in places like Finland and Canada have shown promising results. So why am I skeptical it will happen at scale in time to prevent a crisis? 3 main reasons. First, political feasibility. In the US, a country that can't agree on comprehensive healthcare, a program potentially costing trillions seems politically impossible. The debate over who pays would be paralyzing. Second, our political systems typically respond to crises after they occur, not before. By the time unemployment reaches levels that make UBI viable, we may already be in an economic death spiral. And third, global coordination problems. In a globalized economy, if one country implements UBI, it could create a competitive disadvantage, leading to a race to the bottom. Without UBI, or a similar plan, we face a more immediate threat. Here's what a consumption crisis could look like. Phase 1. Automation accelerates across retail, transportation, customer service, accounting, all at once. Phase 2. Unemployed workers reduce spending to essentials only. Luxury goods, travel, and entertainment markets contract. Companies in these sectors then automate even more aggressively to cut costs, creating a feedback loop of job loss and reduced consumption. Phase 3. Government tax revenues plummet as income and sales taxes decline. This restricts the ability to fund social safety nets precisely when they're most needed. Phase 4. Companies face collapsing demand. Even the most efficiently automated business cannot profit without customers. Bankruptcies increase. Phase 5. Social instability rises as unemployment becomes structural, not cyclical. We're already seeing the early warning signs: record wealth inequality, stagnating real wages for most workers while productivity continues to rise. The solutions require us to reimagine some fundamental aspects of our economic system. We need to talk about ownership reform. Broadening ownership of automated production through things like worker equity or sovereign wealth funds. We need to redefine value, creating ways to compensate currently unpaid work like caregiving or community service. We need an education revolution, moving to continuous learning systems that develop uniquely human skills. And we need to innovate with working time, distributing available work through shorter work weeks. Back in 1914, Henry Ford famously doubled his workers' wages, explaining that he wanted them to be able to afford the cars they built. Today's tech giants may eventually realize they're facing that same logic. The question in our title, "When AI replaces everyone, who buys anything?" reveals a fundamental flaw in our current approach to automation. We're optimizing individual companies at the expense of the economic system they depend on. The good news is that this is a solvable problem. Technology has created unprecedented abundance. For the first time in human history, we have the capacity to meet everyone's basic needs with a fraction of available human labor. The challenge isn't technological. It's about distribution, ownership, and reimagining work itself. If we get this right, AI could usher in an era of unprecedented human flourishing, where people are freed from drudgery to pursue meaningful work, creativity, and connection. If we get it wrong, we could create a system that efficiently produces goods and services that fewer and fewer people can afford to buy. The difference between those futures isn't determined by technology itself, but by the social, economic, and political choices we make in response to it. And those choices start with recognizing the paradox at the heart of our automated future. If you found this video valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the economic and social challenges of our technological future. What do you think? Are you optimistic about how we'll handle the AI transition, or concerned about the consumption paradox we've discussed? Share your thoughts in the comments below. This conversation is too important to leave only to economists and tech CEOs. And remember that technology should serve humanity, not the other way around.